Okay, so it's December 19th, and this will probably be my last video of the night. I put up videos for the night before I put up videos for yesterday. I still gotta work on that. It'll probably take me a couple of days to do that. And I'm going to be looking through my stuff this weekend, plus writing a graphic novel. Okay, so as I was saying, this just hit me, and I wasn't recording when I said it, so now I have to try and remember everything I said. I want to talk to people about how hard it is for me to say goodbye. All right, goodbyes are easier for some people than others, and it ain't never been easy for me because I've always been afraid to say goodbye to people because goodbye is permanent. So I always try to say see you later or have a nice night, see you next time, because there have been a couple of fears that I have never really been able to conquer. All right, like fear of heights, no problem. Fear of dying, no problem. Fear of getting my ass kicked, been there, done that. The only person who's ever done that has been my older sister. I welcome all challenges. Anyway, at least I did before I had to get this new hip. But anyway, so this is why I have my fear of goodbye. My fear of goodbye is because goodbye is permanent. You know, my father never really got the chance to say goodbye to me. And I kind of had to be forced to say goodbye to him because he died, like, out of the blue. It was unexpected for us, probably was more unexpected for him. But, if you see now the videos, you'll see the car posted and all that. And since I've been a kid, I think because I never got to say goodbye to my father's mother's mother, and I never truly got to say goodbye to my mother's father. I never met his father or his mother, but I met him, and he died when I was like 6. And Uncle Doc died right after that, and never really got to say goodbye to him either because of circumstances in my age. So I think it must have sat with me for like quite some time. Typhoon Warrior. That's me. Anyway, so since I didn't get to say goodbye to them, and when my dad was away while I was living with my mom, you know, as a child, I remember adventures with my grandfather. Can't really call them adventures, but you have moments with your grandparent. So I guess you can call it an adventure. You can call it whatever the hell you want. I call it an adventure. So, you know, I'm sure he had a harder time growing up multicultural than I did, but I never liked saying goodbye because the overwhelming feeling of dread always seems to come over me when I think about saying goodbye to someone. And it's like, I'm never ever going to see this person again. So my dad used to hate it that I would never tell him goodbye. I always tell him, "No, Dad, because I'm scared if I tell you goodbye, you're gonna die." And I never got the chance to tell him goodbye. The night before he passed, I didn't say goodbye. I told him, "I'll see you Friday," because I actually thought I was gonna go down there Friday and be with him. Oh, he was actually going to come up and get me and take me back down there and then bring me back Sunday or Monday, depending on if we went to Smithfield or not. And actually, he was supposed to go to Smithfield that weekend, and it didn't happen, and I had to get to my aunt and all kind of stuff because he went to see my aunt every weekend because she was getting up there in age. So, love you, Aunt Ruth. She's still up there. She's still out there, and we've both been through some shit right now. So, I never got to say goodbye to my dad. I never would say goodbye to my dad, usually because of the overwhelming fear that if I said goodbye to him, he would pass away. And I wasn't ready for it then. I'm still not ready for it even 7 or 8 months after his passing. No. And it's just not something that I'm proud of. I've just been life threateningly scared to say goodbye to damn near everyone. Just basically because goodbye is fucking forever. And I would never say goodbye to people because I was just afraid that they would all die. You know, it's kind of like the same reason why you always tell somebody that you love them because you don't know about tomorrow. You don't know if you will see them tomorrow. You don't. You don't know if you'll see them in the next 20 seconds. or whatever. Nobody's promised tomorrow. So it's probably a good thing to probably for me to like really try to start saying goodbye because of the fact that I didn't get the chance to say goodbye to my dad, and I had many chances, but I never used those words because I never wanted to say goodbye. I just wanted to have him forever and ever. And I've learned now that forever is a lie, and so are fairy tales. But let's not ruin it for the children. But it is just the concept of saying goodbye has always been uh, ingrown fear. It's like one of those things that you kind of just can't swallow. Kind of like these chips. Once you pop, you can't stop. Well, I could never say goodbye because it was the same concept of if I say goodbye, I will never see this person again. And so I don't say goodbye. And now that I can't say goodbye to my father, I'm kind of feeling that. And since he's died, I've only had one dream of him, you know, which is kind of crazy because in the dream we were in a place that he's never been and that I'm probably never ever going to go back to. It was a peaceful dream, and he was trying to tell me something, and I can't read his lips. I can see him talking as clear as you're looking at me on this camera. I can see him talking, and I know exactly where we were. The photos on my Facebook page, but I'm like, he's never been there. Why are we even here? I'm not even talking to that person that owns that house anymore. And so we were there, and I don't know what the hell he was saying. He was trying to tell me something, and I only dreamed it. And by the time I was able to hear like a third of whatever he was trying to say, some asshole woke me up. And I'm sorry, that asshole was my mom, but still, they woke me up. It fucked me up, and I'm like, he hasn't made any contact with me after death. Now, before you go there, I'm going to say it, and you're gonna believe what you want, and you're gonna think what you want, and I don't give a fuck. It's America. You have that right. I signed my name on a line to die so that you can have that right to say, hey, James, fuck you. And your crazy ass ideas, too. Okay, so ever since I was a kid, I've had supernatural experiences, And no, this is not a way for me to get famous. I'm just telling the fucking truth. When my grandfather on my mother's side died, I did not see him after death until his son, my Uncle Doc, died. So one night when I was at my grandma's house and I was in the living room by myself, there was no knocking at the door, but the two shadows at the door was him and my uncle. And every time the lightning flash or a car would drive by, I would see the shadows, and I would keep going to the door. But when I opened the door, there was no one there. But when I closed the door, the shadows were still there. So I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? But it happened like 4 or 5 times, and by the seventh time, when I went to finally go get somebody, it it stopped. So I didn't tell anybody because I was like, you're a kid, and no one's gonna listen to you, and everybody's gonna think you're insane, and you're probably gonna get locked up. So I kept it to myself. So in between that, I had this uncle, the one that fucked up my hair, and the one that didn't, the one who usually cut my hair, was always being attacked by this thing called the witch rider. People now try to quote it, unquote it as blood paralysis. Bullshit. Not that many people on the planet can have this experience at the same time and have no genetic link to each other. And everybody who I've met who says something is the same thing is the fucking witch rider. I'll tell you a story about that one day. Won't be today. So the witch rider hunted me until I was 15. And the only reason it stopped was because, I caught it, which is the story I wasn't supposed to tell. Well, fuck it, I'm already started. So it had got my dad. And this is back, I was 15. And my dad had told me when, whatever age he was at the time, he didn't think it was funny, but it was kind of funny because he's like, I'm a grown ass man and I'm scared of the dark because of this thing in the house that could attack me. And I laughed at that shit for about like 2 or 3 days until it attacked me. And at first I thought it was him getting even with me, but here's the kicker. I locked him out the house. And he only had one house key. He gave that to me. I locked the back door and I locked the front door. And this house doesn't have deadbolts. It's like an old school house. It's got like latches. You have you have to have a skeleton key like thing, like a old fracked up damn thing to get in and out of the house. And you can't do it from the inside. You can unlock the door from the outside, but you can't unlock the door from the inside. You have to use the key to unlock the door from the outside. Nothing can fit in those holes but that specific key. So I locked him out. He got up at 4:30 or 5:30 that morning, and he went to work. He was working for the town Smith at the time. I locked him out. I know I locked him out. And the windows and stuff are all taped up anyway, so he couldn't get back into the window. So I get to sleeping really good, and this grip just grabs me. And I thought it was him. And the night before, I had watched Magnum P.I. make a shark disappear, so I used the same technique, but I grabbed it. So it does exist. Now, back to what I'm saying. Most of the time, and I don't know if it's me, and I don't know what you believe, and I'm not going to force my religion down your throat, but 9 times out of 10, most people who are spiritual see spirits. And I didn't get to say goodbye to my father, so I don't know if that's what he came into my dreams to tell me, or if he was giving me good news and for me to just keep hanging on, and God's going to spin things around, and I'm going to have a happy life. Well, anyway, before that, I never would say goodbye, and I told him why. I was like, because every time I say goodbye, goodbye is permanent. And that's why I always said, I will see you later, or I'll see you in a couple of days, because I was looking forward to seeing him again and everything. And he always told me, no, Jimmy, you got to say goodbye, because if one of us die, you never get to say goodbye. Chuck one for Dad. So, it was pretty bad, I never got to tell Miss Molly goodbye. I did get to tell Rick goodbye, who's my second father, because we had to pull the plug, and that was life altering. That was like probably the second worst experience in my life, because that's not something you kind of gotta do. You kind of, I did get to say goodbye to him, and that was probably about the only thing that got to come out of that. I hated it. I hated every fucking second. And I think I cried for like 3 or 4 days after that. And it's becoming aware to me that I need to learn how to start saying goodbye. Because like I said, I didn't get to say goodbye to my dad, and it sucks. Because first it was my car that he died in, and second, it's like it's gone. Can't say goodbye now, and nobody really ever comes back from heaven unless it's not their time, and he wouldn't have a body to come back to because it's at the bottom of my feet in a box of ashes. However, unfortunately, I do believe in reincarnation, and I get flack about that shit all the time. And I'm like, well, you know what? Nothing is impossible. Or, as they say in my favorite video game, Mass Effect 2, many things are impossible until they're actually done. So, I often try to do right, and I try to say goodbye. I do not say goodbye to kids, because I pray every night that no kid that I know doesn't get a chance to live a full life. And hopefully it will be better than me. And it's why I'm always on their asses to make sure that they don't go through the crap I went through because of some of my siblings' lack of responsibility. But you should probably, if you don't say goodbye, you should probably always tell somebody 2 things. Only 2. Always tell them that you love them, and always tell them goodbye. Always. And at least good night. And never go to bed angry because your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, whoever's watching this, they may not wake up. And you don't want that on your conscience. You really don't. I regret that I didn't tell my dad goodbye. And death can be known or completely unexpected like his was. And I didn't get to say goodbye. And it hurts. In the depths of my soul, it hurts. So, since I can't join him anytime soon, I just love him and miss him. And I'm pretty sure he knows. But it's just the principle of not being able to say it. So thank you and goodbye.